So first of all, to answer your question, they are in the clerk's office. So I think she said next week they'll be reaching out to you after the dust clears from the election. The other thing I want to touch on is that we are more than happy to work with any of you. However, some of the requests are getting a little too, I guess, broad, a little too extreme. And, you know, talking with corporate counsel, it is requested per the charter that if there is any sort of investigation that is requested by council, that council is supposed to approve it. And so for now on, any of these requests that I feel is investigative, I'm going to ask that council approves it. I'm not trying to keep anything from you, but do you care to discuss what your request is?
Yeah, I requested some emails.
You wanted to discuss what those are? What the request is?
I don't think the need to discuss them.
Right, because it's a moot point.
No, I think that I have a
Your
right as a
request
council person.
is ready to go.
First at a time here,
Okay,
please.
so through the chair,
Okay.
the request is at the clerk's office. The clerk has been dealing with an election, so Madam Clerk will be reaching out to her to let her know to come and visualize those emails. I have nothing to hide. This request was quite extensive, but it's a request on something that was voted on by a board and voted on by this board. So again, it's bogging down departments on a moot point. And in my opinion, it's an investigative request. And from now on, if I feel it's an investigative request, I'm going to require that City Council votes to approve it.
Thank you. Ms. Daniels, did you have anything further you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, under section 2.5, records open to the public, it says all records of the city shall be public and open to inspection at all reasonable times. All books, papers, records, and accounts of any officer, elected or appointed, or of any office or department of the city, and shall at all times be subject to audit, examination, or inspection by any member of the council. So that means that any member, one member, can request to see documents.
Absolutely, and you're getting.
And so I
But if you
requested
wanted-
them,
if you-
and
through the
excuse
chair.
me, I think
Okay.
I have the floor.
Okay, go ahead.
I requested the documents in March, and that was forwarded to your office in March. So why it would take 5 months? You know, if you were requesting information from a department head, would you think that 30 days, 60 days, 90 days was acceptable to wait for the information you're requesting? Because we're all doing a job up here, and so we can't properly do our job unless we... Okay, so you understand that in order to properly do your job, you need to get the information you're requesting. And
Don't
30
request
days,
moot
60
points.
days, 90 days, 120 days is not acceptable when you're trying to do a job.
Through the chair, Mr. Mayor, we don't request moot points.
It may be a
That's the
moot point to you, but it's not to me. I'm here to do a job, and I'm trying to do that, and I need those documents to
You try to
be,
prove a moot point.
in your opinion. But your opinion does not justify me requesting those and you, for 4 months,
Through the
not
chair.
giving it.
Through the chair, I never said that you couldn't have it,
It's been almost 5 months.
and you received it,
I didn't receive them yet.
and that's a reasonable time in my opinion.
All right. The way that we've handled this in the past is if documents are available, first time I was on the council, I came in and I reviewed those documents in the treasurer's office, something that does not need to be created. If there is such a contention or a disagreement between an individual council member and to compile a report. Lo and behold, in that time frame, there were a number of cell phone records, cell phones that were turned off. So the idea is, I think, under the charter, if the document, if it is a document that can be FOIA'd, a council member should be able to receive that without a FOIA charge. If there is a disagreement on how much time, workload, effort to then compile it into a presentation, that comes before the council. So that one or two council members aren't putting an undue burden on the executive branch.
Mr. Chairman, part of the delay in this is from what I was being told that something had to be built to fulfill this request.
Chairman, does something need to be built to print an email?
Through the chair, like sometimes emails are deleted, so HR, or not HR, IT has to go through and do all this other stuff. And again, this is stuff that I don't go through all my emails. I got thousands of emails in my thing. But the email that was requested, they have to go, IT goes through and downloads all this other stuff. But I'm just going by what I was told. This doesn't even go through me. This goes through IT. And all I'm saying is that I explained at the last meeting, we are so inundated with FOIAs. And by those, we have certain times and guidelines. You can ask Cindy. Am I lying, Cindy? Her department is slam dunk with them on a regular basis. We have to fulfill those. So unfortunately, if we get a request that doesn't require a timeline, if it's a big request, it doesn't always get fulfilled in a hurry. And I know that might upset somebody, but at the end of the day, we got 30 days, we got 15 days, I don't even know the dates. But it's non-stop, non-stop. And I know nobody might like to hear that answer, but it's the truth.
Chairman?
Councilwoman, any new questions on that
I
same
think
topic?
that, requesting information in order to do a job should be a priority. We are the city council that should hold some authority if we're requesting information, whether you think it's relevant for us to get in order to do our job. That's not your decision. We're two separate branches. So if we're requesting information, we should be provided that information in a timely manner. And I think that I've been...
You've received that information?
I have not received the information.
Oh, it's there.
Mr. Chairman? Sorry.
Madam Clerk.
I have not received the information,
Okay.
and every time that I even spoke with the city clerk, and I was told that they were waiting to get somebody to sit with me. I've been told they were going to work on it, they had to make something. I was told by the chief of staff that if I paid for it, I would have had it already. So those things are not appropriate. I mean, we're all doing a job here, and I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, but if you were requesting information from one of your department heads, you would not wait 90 days. I don't think you would wait 30 days to receive that information. You would want it to be able to do your job adequately. And without providing that information, you are preventing a council person from doing their due diligence to do their job. You are hindering my ability to do my job.
Mrs. Daniels, I totally disagree with you because I have waited 90 days. I've waited longer than that. Just because I'm the mayor, I don't get to, wave a magic wand and everything. My computer's been broke for a few days. I just got it up and running the other day. Everything doesn't just magically appear when the mayor says something. First of all, I'm not that guy. And second of all, if somebody says, hey, I don't have time, Mayor, I'm sorry right now, I'm okay with that. But at the end of the day, you want to sit there and fight these fights that bog down the city. And you know what? I'm going to defend that. I'm going to fight that, and I'm going to push back. And you might not like it, but that's the way it is, and that's the way I work. You want to fight fights. You want to investigate things on a raise because council approved it and because the compensation commission approved it, and you want to fight about an individual about not being on there and that his kid's related to this, and you want to keep going down that, and you want to keep arguing about it. You're getting your information. It's now at the clerk's office. You can say next week, Cindy said, they'll be available. After that, other than that, you have never been denied a thing. But I will also say, Mrs. Daniels, you think that everything needs to stop and drop when you want something. And it doesn't always work that way.
Chairman?
Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, the item was brought down at 4 o'clock on Monday.
before the election, we have 2 hours to download 23 precincts into the electronic poll books. It is very technical work. It was brought down at 4 o'clock. With the kind of a demand for my deputy to get up and go put it in the safe, to which she denied because she had 23 USBs. Anyways, that's a long story. And I believe, and I talked to the mayor today, I told him I'd reach out to Ms. Daniels and make an appointment with her next week, because we are still wrapping up the election this week. I have the canvass going on with the county right now. And I believe what the mayor is referencing about timeframes, while I take every request seriously, there are statutory deadlines on FOIAs, that if I miss that deadline, I'm sued, and I end up in court. I agree all of you have access, you have rights per the charter. But the statutory deadline of a FOIA is gonna take preference over that, and I have your stuff, and I will be reaching out, and we will get together. I have to look at it yet still, because I have questions for corporate counsel. Is there an entitlement to attorney-client emails? Nothing has been removed. So now that duty has been put on me to go through all of these emails and take out the ones, does it give free will to every email, or